What is going on, Chelsea fans? Thank you for heading over to our YouTube channel. Hey, this is a clip from the entire match review podcast we did. It's only a segment. The full pod is like an hour long, so it doesn't make sense to be on YouTube, but it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts, link in the description. Go check it out. Again, link in the description, but we hope you enjoy this clip. Until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high. Nick, your tweet was, hey, really could have been a 1-1 draw, yet we lost 2-0. So if we dive into the first one, trying to break down the plan, right? We're trying to kind of reverse engineer this match from 95th minute to the pre kind of work that they did throughout the week. The game seemed to shift on one key mistake from Andreas Christensen. Obviously a huge moment. He bear hugged Sadio Mane, took him to the ground. Almost a little stone cold stunner, grab him and take him to the turf. Would have been more enjoyable.
Nice open field tackle, NFL style. Really well done. Tracked down his man. Nice wrap up. Didn't have to use his shoulder. I mean, if you're coaching football, that is a prime tackle. It's well done.
Well, look, that leading up to that point, it was fairly even, but it was a moment that Christensen fell asleep, metaphorically, lost Mane right down the middle of the pitch, and he was never going to catch him, obviously. So if we kind of go up to the red card point, essentially, as far as the plan goes, I was surprised to see Alonso personally. I'm not really surprised we did 4-3-3 to kind of match him kind of man-to-man. But anything that you saw from the beginning, especially in the midfield, because I think that's where we kind of won and lost it.
Look, I think the 4-3-3 is the right way to play Liverpool, because if they dominate the midfield, it's over. You lose automatically. So I think you have to match them. I think the question is whether Jorginho should have been a part of our midfield, because I don't think he offered anything today. I think that was the weak link. I mean, Kovacic and Conte did an okay job to carry the ball forward. I mean, Conte was stellar defensively, but I think we lacked, while we did match them for numbers, we lacked any cutting edge kind of coming out of our counterattack. And if Jorginho is the holding midfielder, the regista, whatever his position is, the ball has to come out faster. I mean, we got caught in possession a number of times, and when they're pressing high and you lose the ball in your own half, I mean, it's tough to play. And I mean, I think all things considered, you look at a missed penalty from Jorginho, you look at a giveaway from Kepa, and the reason I felt okay out of this match is like it could have been a hell of a lot worse with 10 men for 45 minutes. I mean, like it really could have. And I think, Dan, you look at this and it's probably wrong to rue a missed opportunity, because we probably deserve to lose, but it could, on another day, it really could have been 1-1.
Sure. On another day, it could have been 2-0 to Chelsea. We were, for the first 45 minutes, we held our own. We were involved in the match. We were getting the ball forward. But I think the point that you highlighted, which was the fact that we were going horizontal so often within our passes, when it was Jorginho out to the wings with Alonso, we were recycling. And you're not going, if we were trying to truly play, like we saw it in glimpses where we were actually trying to put the ball forward, to get it in the path of Timo, to get it in the path of a Mason, or to Havertz, to move the pitch and actually stretch it vertically. That was the way that we were going to beat this Liverpool team, because what you see with Robertson and what you see with Trent Alexander-Arnold is they go so far forward. They are so deep in our half that you can get that space on the wings, because the congestion then happens in your area of the pitch. So then there were opportunities where Timo really was one-on-one and wouldn't have had to beat more than one man, whether it was Fabinho or Virgil van Dijk, to actually get in and get a kind of shot across Alisson. So I was kind of confused that we weren't trying to put players in like Barkley, or maybe even bring Mason into the midfield and put Callum Hudson-Odoi out or bring Giroud up, who can then play out and be a focal point, Brandon, so that we stretched vertically, because we kept it too horizontal. And the rate at which Jorginho, Conte on occasions in this match, but also Kovacic passed horizontally, it didn't really ever let us move fast enough to take advantage of where the space was.
I think that having Jorginho and Conte was a mistake, because they don't offer anything in attack. We've seen Jorginho play an early ball in behind to Tammy once last year, but that's not his go-to. 7 to 10 yards, really his comfort zone and what he does best. Conte did get forward, but I mean, he was 10 yards out and turned around and dribbled away from goal. It's not his strong suit. So Jorginho played deep and forced Conte forward, and that was not good. And then Kovacic, we saw he had some good runs today. He was tidy on the ball. Look, Kovacic did what Kovacic does. Like, he showed up, did exactly what we expected. Like I said, that's why I went with Barkley in my lineup, because I was thinking about it. It's like, you have Conte. You can kind of lean on him defensively a little bit. Yeah, I didn't expect Thiago to play at all. He just signed. Amazingly enough, he did get in. And so with their midfield of Wijnaldum, Keita, and Jordan Henderson, that doesn't scare me. Like, they're an industrial midfield, but they're not dynamic. So they're not really going to be like I think Gigi Wijnaldum probably gets the furthest forward, but like, Conte can handle that. We can handle that. We needed Barkley to get in between their midfield and their forward line to run with the ball, even if he's going to make a bad decision. At least it gives us a chance. It was so just poorly organized in the midfield that's why I was just really frustrated that having Jorginho Conte, that will never work, in my opinion.
Yeah, like your point on that is exactly right. I mean, you don't want anyone except for N'Golo Kante back there to provide a buffer, right? And the point I made at halftime right after halftime is Olivier Giroud should have been brought in for Jorginho early in the second half, simply just to provide an outlet, right? To hit the ball up, for someone to be able to control the ball. And then maybe, you link up with Timo, or Mason Mount makes a run from midfield or whatever. I don't see the point of Jorginho in the way that this team is supposed to be playing right now. You've seen 2 games where Chelsea's been outpossessed and tried to play on the counterattack. We obviously won one of those games, and now we've lost one of them. Jorginho does not work in a counterattacking system. There's not a point to that. So my hope was, and I think where Frank maybe got it wrong today, is that he didn't have a focal point. He didn't have an outlet. He didn't have, if you're not going to play the channel ball like Arsenal did to us in the FA Cup, where you just play it down the line and have your fast guy go catch it, it happened like twice for Timo today, then you need someone who's going to collect it, hold it, bring everyone back into play, and we didn't have that at all. So that's tactically, there was just a misstep there. But I think where the eye test of the game comes in, Dan, for me, Nick's eye test, insert stinger here, is counterattacking. When we did have the ball, the passing wasn't fast enough. To beat Liverpool and to beat their fast defense, and they do have a fast defense, there's no doubt about it, they crowd. You really have to start playing balls. I can remember 6 or 7 opportunities where Timo and Kai Havertz and Mason Mount all made the right run, and the ball just never went to them. And it's like, if they make the run, you have to put it on a plate. You have to get it to them. You have to allow them in space to do a thing. And the midfield just held it too long, or they wanted to make it and they just didn't make it. And you have to move the ball much, much, much quicker for those opportunities to work. So that's what I got.
Yeah, that's the biggest challenge with where the delivery was happening for Timo, who I think made a ton of really, really great runs today, and is probably one of 2 to 3 players after this match who can hold his head pretty high gave it his all on the pitch to try to make something happen for us. He needs the ball to be going ahead of him. He doesn't need the ball to land on his feet and then gain control. And I think there are players on this team who have not realized that he doesn't need it at his feet to go run ahead. And so if we can get that right, he will become infinitely more dangerous. You have not seen him at his full powers. And so I would like, Kovacic had one or two good balls forward. Jorginho really didn't have a ton of great forward passes. Conte recycled back a little bit. Mason tried to play him in well. It was offsides, but Havertz had a really good ball that shows like what conceptually is going to happen with this attack, Brandon. That there's the promising signs are there, but there is a lot of tinkering that's going to need to be required. And then this lineup is not the lineup we are going to see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game weeks from now. This is like this really was like a preseason game for us, even though the points actually matter. This is not the lineup we're going to see, even 2 game weeks from now.
Yeah, but we can't wait 6 weeks to start playing. And that's the problem.
Yeah, no other team's just going to be like, oh, well, Chelsea's hurt. Well, we're just going to wait then.
I mean, you're going to lose ground. The table's going to start to settle. Well, and so I understand, I think from a play quality standpoint, the fact of the matter is, like, we got to get results. Again, Wijnaldum, Keita, Henderson, not dynamic, not exciting. We had Jorginho, Conte, Kovacic. None of those guys like playing a pass more than 10, 15, maybe 20 yards if they're knocking it out wide. And so my point is, like, they were able to hit that ball to Mane that unlocked Christensen, right? From 35, 40 yards out. And then that's the difference. They look early, and it kind of goes back to obviously Chelsea, you tweeted it, we all retweeted it, and I think we all favorited it. It was just like, Chelsea don't realize how fast Werner is yet. So they're not seeing his run. So from a midfield standpoint, they're not even looking 30 yards up. They're looking for the close proximity to slowly kind of get it to wing and then work away. Like, Werner's ready. He is ready to go. Even Havertz is like ready to go. And we're not capitalizing on the opportunities that we get. And that, I think, was just, it is not good enough from that midfield. They're good enough to do it, but they didn't pick up their heads.
If Werner is 3 yards behind the last defender, he's level. Like, that's the thing you have to realize. Like, if you're looking at the back of 11 and he's just slightly behind where the last defender is, go. Go right now, because it's like watching a car, like in the Fast and the Furious. It's like watching a car that has NOS versus one that doesn't. Like, he's gonna just go, and if the ball is in play anywhere on the field, he'll go get it, right? So your point about Fabregas is Brandon, is the one that I made in a tweet earlier today. It's like, I think he'd have 30 assists in this team this year. I truly believe that ball over the top that he used to play to Costa is there all day. And it would have been there all day today.
Leicester can play it. Their midfield isn't better. Liverpool played it. Man United couldn't play it this last weekend, but it's in their locker. We've seen Pogba just hit a full side volley 75 yards and put it on a dime. And unfortunately for us, it only got worse in the second half. So this Opta-Joe stat for about Thiago is not going to make you feel good, Chelsea fans. So just get ready. 75. Halftime substitute, Thiago completed more passes, 75, than any Chelsea player managed in the entire match. And we had Jorginho out there, and Kovacic, the tiki-taka, the little pass guys. Since full passing data became available for the Premier League in 2003-2004, Thiago's 75 successful passes are the most by a player who played a maximum of 45 minutes. Control. So this team is going to get a lot more dynamic. And he was hitting these little dinks and these chips that were like dangerous and threatening. And if he's not even fine-tuned yet, he doesn't, it's like a quarterback receiver. They don't know their timing yet. He's like, how fast is Mane? Let me just dink one in real quick and see if he gets there. Oh, damn, he did get there. All right, well, we can do that next time. And that's the difference, is like, Liverpool have a mediocre midfield. Come at me. Don't care. It's true. But they play early and let their dynamic players go. And I think my biggest concern from the midfield, and we can wrap soon, is essentially that we don't have attacking threats right now out wide. We had Pedro, we had Willian, Christian Pulisic is hurt, and we're waiting for Callum Hudson-Odoi to kind of find his footing. We went from a plethora of wide players last year to, as of right now, really
too.
Not much. Yeah, and Ziyech is injured too. To Dan's point, this will be very different, but it doesn't matter. If we don't find them and we don't get it to them early, our attacks are going to be null and void the entire season, which is my concern. So the midfield need to sort it out. Pick your head up. Let the super creative, dynamic players forward do something. We should literally be pretending to be a Liverpool-type team this season.